we are a company that builds software for developers. We're a group of developers ourselves, and building mobile applications and making it easy for people to build really good mobile applications is essentially why Jigx exists. Built for a developer audience, we're well aware of the low-code, no-code space on the one side of us and the sort of native tool sets where you code in Swift and Kotlin on the other side. And our goal really is to fit comfortably in the middle of those two. To build software for developers is something we're very passionate about. We've made some significant progress. We know that there's a lot of feature requests, and part of this morning is to actually show you what we've been doing to address some of those. We have no intention of moving the software down into the no-code space. It's just not where we play. But what we do want to do is we want to make it as easy as possible for developers to build their solutions. And we're doing a lot of work, really hard work on making that experience better. If you look at the adoption, it's actually been a fun ride for us. We have launched the web sign-up version of the software in May. And at that point, we had about 127 organizations deployed on the platform, and most of that work because of the great work that we did with partners. Partners like RapidMation, Process Point, Hendrik, you guys, BCX, Provoke, and CatPro, amongst others. There's a lot more. Paul Kusneski out of the Midwest done really great work to help us get to that point where we could launch the software and make it available for public sign-up. It was off to quite a nice start for us. By the end of June, we had 275 organizations building solutions on the platform. By July, going into the summer in the US, we were up to 425. Added another 70 in August. And when I cut this deck yesterday, we were at 775. And actually today, that number is over 800. So we have 800 organizations that signed up to use and build solutions on Jigx platform, and that really likes the story that we are telling about making it easy for people to build beautiful and highly functional native mobile applications, not web applications on Jigx. That's significant progress for us over 6 months. We're looking forward to the next 6 months. We're seeing this number trending up, and we think that it's going to hold really exciting opportunity for everybody that's using the platform. One of the big areas we're investing a lot in is in our documentation. We've added a significant number of new code samples. We've updated and refreshed the documents. We've added a whole bunch of new content. Yesterday morning, we shipped the update to the website together with a new release that we made available. And it's really reflected if you look at the time that people spend in our documentation. It's at 14 minutes a session. That number continues to creep up. It means people are really finding value in the documentation. They're getting in there. There's a lot of information there that helps them, and they're spending time there. And that's been great for us to see. And we've been tracking that very, very closely, and we've been listening to the feedback. We've worked a lot on indexing and making it easier for people to find topics, but we've also decided to implement LLM on top of our documentation. So that went live probably about a week ago. And what that allows you to do, it allows you to ask natural language questions, and the model underneath will then construct the answers based on all the content within the documentation, as well as some additional content that we're teaching it with, and construct code samples and samples that's very specific to what you want to accomplish. So this has been working really, really well. There are still scenarios where the answers that come back is not as exactly as we would like it to be. Please provide us with feedback. We've been using this internally, and it really has been a great experience for us. At the same time, we've completed the shift to community. Our own people are now investing significant time to make sure this is a community with the latest information, that we respond very quickly to questions and answers. We've also seen the participation of external people grow very rapidly. So we would like to encourage everybody to continue to go to community.jigx.com. It's a fantastic resource, and it's a resource that we will continue to invest in. One of the other updates that we made on Jigx.com is to add blog.jigx.com or jigx.com/blog. Articles written by third-party people, as well as some of our own people in the industry. And it's not just about Jigx. It really is about mobile applications, managing mobile application lifecycle management, best practices, how to think about applications, when's it a good idea to use tools like Jigx, when should you use other tools. And really our idea here is to continue to feed this with the help and working with people, respected individuals out there in the industry. So it's a great resource. Keep an eye on this. We will continue to feed articles and documents in here. And we're really excited about the value that that's adding. So we are here today to look at software. Yesterday, we shipped the 11th release for this year, so slightly more than one a month. And we will continue with that cadence. We added some new features across both the back end as well as the front end on Monday. One of the big ones being SSO. We're going to take a look at that this morning. And we're working hard on the next release that's coming up. So this cadence will continue, and there's so many new features and capabilities that's coming. We're really excited about what we've done since we launched the software in the beginning of the year, and we've updated it for the 11th time. So let's take a look at some of those things we're going to see. SSO, single sign-on, probably one of the biggest requested features that we've had, where companies that adopt Jigx many times already have their users and their passwords and their groups and their authentication within Azure Active Directory or Okta, as an example. And they want to be able to reuse that. And they want Jigx to be able to attach to that and sort of auto-provision the moment that somebody signs in through one of those systems. So that's been added in the release as of yesterday. I'm going to show that to you this morning. We added some new UI components, a carousel, which basically allows you to flip through cart-oriented content. What you're seeing there on the screen, and you're going to see it a lot this morning, is a new component that's currently in internal preview. We'll make it available in external preview as soon as we're happy with the quality. There's this concept called custom components. And custom components allows you to basically use a subset of CSS within Jigx to build your own components that you can use within the solution. And we've been using it. You're going to see it a lot this morning, and it really elevates the Jigx user experience to the next level. We're very excited about that. One of the big additions that's coming is a concept called record level or row level security for dynamic data. What that means is that you can apply policies on dynamic data, which is a very light-based, high-performance database that runs on top of the Amazon infrastructure. But you can now apply row-level security, and I'm going to show you how that works. It really elevates the use cases of DD quite significantly. We understand that people use back-end line of business systems and data for their solutions. DD plays a specific role within these solutions where it is either for utility data or where you want to build self-contained solutions. It's a fantastic data source for that. And we continue to invest in that and mature that, so you're going to see some really exciting things. That also then forms some of the underlying infrastructure for us to do new things like real-time location sharing, which will be added soon. I'm going to show that to you. We've also enhanced the maps to now have a very high render count, so you can actually render routes based on almost pixel perfect precision placing, and that we've increased the points that you can map significantly with the latest releases. And so I'm going to show that to you this morning, how we can use mapping and routing services, and then real-time location sharing for some very nice scenarios. We will also be shipping the first building blocks for collaboration. We believe that in-app collaboration is incredibly important. It's not connected to a backend, so you can use whatever backend for collaboration that you want to use. What's important to us is that we make the UI building blocks available for you. We are doing some work ourselves around messaging infrastructure and collaboration. It's a really important topic for us. We will include in-app calling, voice and video calling, and then of course messaging is really important for us. But the first step is these messaging and chat building blocks as a UI that you can use within your applications. And I'm going to show some of that to you. One of the other ones that we've had a big request on, and this specifically one of the first projects that we're working on with Rapidmation out of Australia, is in-app payments, the ability to do in-app credit card processing and support on-device payment capabilities such as Apple Pay as an example. And so we're going to be excited to show that to you as well. A completely new component that we're working on that you will also see soon is this concept of a question response survey style experience. And this really is sort of a chat-based UI that is fed with more structured data with very specific expected responses. So if you think about medical surveys or insurance claim processing or healthcare intake, where it really is complex forms where you need to collect information in a structured way, but you want to break it up so it's more fluid and easy for people to retain focus rather than filling out a massive form on a mobile device. This kind of user experience works incredibly well for that. So at the bottom there, you can render Jigx or subsets of that. So it's basically native UI that presents the user with a number of different data types as input options. And at the top there, you have a whole history of what's happening. And of course, you have the ability to go back and reverse the questionnaire or go back and change the answers. It really is a very nice new experience, and that's coming soon as well. We'll be looking at 3 customers: Pickle, which is a service provider / vendor-based applications. Think about Uber for plumbers and electricians and service providers within a certain area. One of our customers, they've built a solution on Jigx. Hippo Lakes is a organization based out of the US that does worldwide safaris and luxury breakaways. They wanted to build an experience all the way from signing up and users starting to participate to actual concierge services once you arrive at the location, really making it easy for you and to experience the package that you bought from them. And lastly, we'll show you ManyBuild. ManyBuild's a project that we are doing with Paul and his team out of the Midwest in the US, company that manages construction projects and connect both the construction provider as well as the customer and the lifecycle management of the solution. They wanted to be able to surface this on a mobile application, and we built this for them. So we're really excited to show all of this stuff for you. So I'm going to jump out of PowerPoint right there, and I'm going to jump into the software. I'm going to start off here with basically bringing this one phone. I have 2 devices here that we'll be using this morning. I'm going to start off with this one device, and I'm going to jump straight in and start showing you some of these capabilities. Now, we mentioned SSO. In this case, this is basically release 22 that shipped yesterday. In this case, I'm going to sign into an organization on Jigx that's been configured to use Azure Active Directory. As I mentioned, we support Azure Active Directory or Okta and everything that you can put behind Okta. We did nothing proprietary here, so the moment that I sign in, I will get an operating system level challenge response UI that will bring up Microsoft's OAuth authentication for me. If you have Keychain or the equivalent on an Android device, you can still use those usernames and passwords. And then very importantly, in our case, our organization is set up for 2-factor authentication. So in this case, 65, and I have Microsoft Authenticator here. And if I go in here, I'll be prompted and I can still use 2-factor authentication. And not only can I use this, it will then redirect me intelligently back to the Jigx application. So we wanted to make it as seamless as possible for users to experience this and as familiar as possible so that they can just continue to use the solutions as if though they are signing into Microsoft Outlook or one of the Microsoft mobile applications. As soon as you're in, it will actually render the application itself. In this case, I have a solution here called Microsoft Demonstrator. And what this does is it talks to the Microsoft Graph API. Previously, this would prompt me a second time for signing credentials because I had to authenticate myself against Microsoft. In this case, the application automatically uses the token that it got when it signed me in and will just seamlessly sign me into the application. So really a seamless user experience for people that use those authentication models. And then, of course, being able to clean this up successfully so that I sign out and we clean up the infrastructure on the local device. Everything highly secure, stored in keychains, all based on industry standards. And so a really nice addition that's currently in the software and in the platform. I'm going to move on to my Jigx application. I want to show you the row-level security feature that we're adding. In this case, I have an application that I use. I have 3 children, Joe, who's 25, Suzanne, who's 22, and Stephen, who's 13. We have this application that they can use to track all their activities, upcoming events, and not just that, but also things like pocket money, current location, profile management, chores around the house for someone like Stephen who still lives in the house, and then also chat. So I'm going to use this application to show you a whole bunch of some of the new features and capabilities that's coming. If I go to management, in the application itself, in Jigx Management, you'll see that we added this new tab here called Data Policies. And this is for dynamic data's row-level security to define the policies itself. So there's nothing as secret in our house as pocket money and who gets what. So I use pocket money, the table that pocket money data is stored in and secured with RLS. You can filter out data on devices with where clauses. That's very secure. However, the data will still travel to the mobile device. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that only data that the user who's using the mobile application is supposed to see will travel to his device, regardless of what mechanism is used or which API is being used. So in this case, only parents can create pocket money, and I'm in the parent group. Kids can read, and members, kids are part of the members group. Members are the target audience for who the record is created. So that's a specific person in this case. If the pocket money is given to Joe, only she will be allowed to see the data. And of course, I'm the owner because I created the record, but I'm also in the parents group, so I can see the data. Only I can update pocket money, and only I can delete pocket money. So you apply this policy, you don't have to apply it on all tables. I applied on the tables that I wanted to. It's got zero impact on performance or performance latency. The guys did an absolute amazing job to implement this. And as I mentioned, it works across all of our interfaces and APIs. So we'll show you how you can even use it through the REST API. If I go to this pocket money table, you'll see that I have 4 entries in here at this point. Stephen has got 3 entries and Joe's got 1 entry. And if I go and look at one of these records, you'll see that we added a new tab at the top here. Content is still as you would expect it to see, what we're used to. We have an JSON editor now to make it easier for you to edit data. Keep in mind, this is really as an interface for people who build and manage solutions. And then you can see who the current authorized users on a record level is. So I'm the owner, I created this, and this is Joe's pocket money, so only she can see this data. So between me and Joe, we're the only 2 people who can see this record. Even if somebody accesses the data through management, they will only see the records that they are allowed to see. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go back and take this device that I have, and I'm just going to make it visible here on the right-hand side so you guys can see it while I work. And what I'm going to do is I'm currently signed in as myself, and I'm looking at Joe. So I'm going to go to Pocket Money. I'm going to add a new record for Joe. I just want to show you what it looks like. In this case, let's say this is gas money for driving Stephen, and this week's allowance for helping, and then drives a very fuel efficient car, so we're going to make it $25. And when we hit add pocket money, the record is immediately added, as you would expect, on the right hand side there on the device itself. And if I go to my user experience here, we just hit refresh, we'll see that a new record has been added. And this is gas money for Stephen, and it's assigned to Joe. And if we look at authorized users, we'll see that the record has been assigned to Joe. So this has been created successfully. This record will not travel to Stephen's device. He cannot see the data or see the record. I have a second device here, this one that I'm actually going to put here as well. And this device, I am signed in as Stephen. I just want to show you the second part of this experience as well. So Stephen is signed in just because it's just him. He will only see his own information. He won't see everyone else's information. And if you go to Pocket Money, this data is the only data that's available on the device. So one of the other things that I did here is I built a little HTML web page. And I'm going to use the Jigx REST API, which is a full API. And we continue to invest in this API. Pretty much all the features and functionality that we use to build the mobile application, our mobile application is actually built on the Jigx REST API. So it's available for people to build really nice solutions with, or to use to extend their solutions with. So I'm just going to enter Stephen's email address here, and let's call this lunch money, and lunch money for this week. And we're going to make it 35. There might already be one entry in there. It actually isn't. If I hit submit, what you will see is that the record will be created here, and it's immediately available through dynamic data's push infrastructure on the device. So the device doesn't have to be refreshed. Data is immediately pushed. We immediately identify who the target audience, in other words, the member for this record is, and we make sure that this record is pushed to that user's device almost the moment that it hits the back end. So all of the benefits of dynamic data are still in place. It's a fantastic infrastructure. It's incredibly fast and now allows you to build true reusable solutions because you can encapsulate some of your data policies in dynamic data and maintain the benefits such as real-time push. So I just gave Stephen some pocket money. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to just move his phone to the left here. I want both devices open for what we're going to do next. Now I am going to go to Stephen on my phone, the device on the right-hand side here. Oops, sorry. What I'm going to do is use the carousel at the top there, and I'm going to go to Stephen, and I'm going to go to chat. So we've added the chat user experience. I previously said that to him that I'm picking him up for school. I'm going to say just added pocket money for lunch. And what you'll see is the moment I click send, what I'm using here is we're actually using, in this specific case, dynamic data behind it. So the moment the record's created, it's available. And again, with row level security or record level security, it's only going to Stephen's device. Now, you don't have to use dynamic data behind the chat UI. We did it in such a way that you can use Microsoft Teams or pretty much any other notification platform or chat platform that's out there. In this case, let's use this to set us up. Let's meet at Rainier's for dinner. I'm going to send that to him, and let's say as part of this, no, I'm going to say I want you there. I want you there in 10 minutes, and please share your location and route with me. So I want to know he's going to join us for dinner, and I want him to be able to send his route and location for me. So with Stephen saying we'll do, we're going to move on. I'm going to use the map. This is location widget and control that we've had. We've actually extended this. As I mentioned, now if I hit get directions, I'm making a call out to, in this case, I'm using Mapbox's direction API. You can use any direction API to get directions. We support all three standards of JSON, or actually not JSON, data formats that comes back as potential routing instructions or plotting instructions for the path. Once that is plotted on the path, it will use the new high point capability that we added to the map. So you'll actually see that the route itself now follows the road perfectly, almost in the pixel perfect level. So that's a new addition that we've made. It just makes for a much better experience. One of the things I want to do here as well is I'm just going to take my phone. I want to see what Stephen's doing. So he shared his route, and the moment that he published his route, it's also available for me to see. So I can see exactly what route Stephen is going to take as he makes his way to me. Now, one of the other things I asked him to do is to share his location with me in real time. So the moment that he shares his location, you'll see the little bike pops up, and it just popped up on my device on the right-hand side as well. So I can now follow Stephen's progress. Now, what I'm going to do here is I have Rainier sitting right here next to me. I'm going to unplug this device on the left, so you're going to stop seeing that being shared. What I am going to do is I'm going to give it to Rainier, and Rainier is going to get on his bike that is powered by a Ford F-150 truck. And so he is going to start moving outside so that we can actually see the real-time location tracking working. Nothing like a real-time demo to show off software. So as Rainier is moving, that's just the Wi-Fi in my house that is moving his location. We'll see him start moving. At the same time, while we wait for him to get outside, I have a jig here at the bottom that tracks progress. I said to him, I gave him 10 minutes to get there. I set a timer. This is also a new control. You can count down days, minutes, seconds, and there's no limit as to how far in the future it can go to. The countdown will have an event that gets raised when it's finished. We've used it in a number of different solutions, especially where information is time sensitive. In this case, you'll see as the timer runs out, I've triggered it to automatically send a message to Stephen. So he'll immediately get a message that says, why are you not home yet? And the backend that will also send it with push notifications. So even if his device is closed, he will get that as a push notification. The progress bar there is also a new control. That is the distance that Stephen still has to travel until he gets to Rainier's house. As the location data gets updated as he's moving, it will actually trigger additional calls that I can make. So you can already see that Stephen is moving there. He's almost at that circle, making his way to Rainier's house. Now, as the location changes, will actually at the same time continue to update additional information for you in the backend, so that progress bar can show progress as he continues to drive towards Rainier's house. We did some work on auto zooming and auto centering on the map. So real-time location sharing, regardless of which direction it goes, it will always keep the information in the middle. And that little icon, all of those elements of the what you're seeing is actually completely customizable. So Rainier is going to continue to drive all the way to his house. We're not going to sit here and watch him do that. We have a couple of other things we still want to show to you this morning, and you can already see the progress bar there growing as he makes his way towards the house, and the distance that he travels gets more. So completely interactive, using real-time information, and so easy to use and to implement. Now, this entire solution, we're going to move on from this solution to some of the other components we want to show you, but this solution that includes just about everything from signing in to row-level security, chatting, routing, real-time location sharing, the carousels, the web pages that users rest, progress, timer, everything that you saw, this entire solution, including the menus and the UIs and all the screens, I built myself. And it took me probably a day and a half to 2 days maximum to build this entire solution, which is it's just practically impossible for me to build something this feature-rich with any other current tool that's out there. And it's a native experience that will work across iOS and Android and tablets. So we're really excited about this. The level of depth and capabilities that we're bringing to the platform is just amazing. You'll see at the bottom here, I also got a message that Stephen started sharing his location and he stopped sharing it. This is from the demo this morning. I want to move on to the next point. We mentioned in-app payments and applications, some great work that Marcus did with our partner RapidMation originally. So the capabilities will be in the platform. Basically what this is, the ability to include in-app applications and in-app payments. In this case, certain bundles that you can buy or sell if I add something to the cart. And again, you'll see custom components at work here. That entire cart that is in a list here that's rendered with all the packages, there's a custom component that uses CSS to style it. But we've added this item to the cart. If we go to checkout, we can see the entry there. And now if you hit pay now at the bottom, you will see that it will bring up a credit card payment sheet. And we've partnered with a company called Stripe, which is probably the leading infrastructure provider or mechanical infrastructure provider for credit card payments. There's nothing proprietary here, nothing that we do as a data provider in the middle. We don't collect any data, we don't save any data, other than making sure that as part of your solution configuration, we have the security keys for the vendor and the application itself, so it's signed. All payment, actual transactional payment processing is handled by the Stripe backend. It's highly secure. And if I hit pay, in this case, I'm using a test data, I'm not sending them real money, the payment will be processed immediately. So this will be available soon as well to all partners. The setup happens within management because you do have to set up your Stripe keys and then secure them within the Jigx portal. Once that is done, embedding payment, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or credit card payments inside of your application really is very easy. And so that's really exciting. That will be coming soon this year as well. I mentioned the experience of structured question response. So in this case, I have this insurance claim here. If I start my application, or my insurance application, the kinds of insurance types of insurance that I have. In this case, let's say vehicle insurance. Based on that and based on the data definition that actually gets fed into the chat at the top, which is completely dynamic. That is none of this is actually hard-coded and really unfolds as the data underneath this unfolds. I can claim for a specific vehicle. Let's say I want to claim for a Hyundai, and then ask me what kind of damage happened. In this case, it was accident damage, and it was on the body only. And you can see how I'm guided through the experience. Now, the goal here is to make it really easy and for people to think differently about how they collect large forms or structured forms or data that's associated with structured forms. Rather than publishing those complex forms and layouts in the UI, you can actually collect it through a logical set of questions, which can then ask the appropriate questions and only ask the questions that is applicable to previous answers. So this will be coming soon as well. We're really excited about this. It's an exciting new way to interact with solutions and to collect data. And we're really looking forward to what people will be doing with that. Pickle, one of our customers, as I mentioned before, application that we work with a partner that is building the solution for the customer, basically allowing you to advertise your services in a specific geographical area, and then based on people within that area and potential customers in that area, do quick matching. I mentioned very similar to Uber, except this is for service providers, really people who need last-minute help or to get out of a pickle. I like the name. I think it's really cool. And you can then interact. You can see the contract details, the location, directions, what you quoted, current progress as the contract evolves. And so this solution will be going into production soon. It is a consumer application and will be applicable to quite a large user base. Authentication-wise here, also very interesting, using a social mechanism of authentication into the Jigx solution that is building off of the SSO work that we've done. So that will be available soon. I mentioned Hippo Lakes. This company provides safaris, as I mentioned, in their based out of the US, and what they wanted an experience that really sort of matches the quality of the service that they provide. And if you look at some of these locations, it's absolutely exquisite. And so we wanted to build a user experience on a mobile device that really matched this for them and sort of carried that same level of quality into the application itself. So again, custom components with the agendas, putting content front and center so people can see exactly what they're experienced on every single day, what will be available to them. And really, this is, I mean, some of the most beautiful locations I've ever seen in my life. And I'm really proud about how Jigx allows to almost convey that to the end user. Once you've selected your location, taking them through the process of signing up, and once they've signed up, once they arrive at the location, actually taking them through the guided agenda and turning into a concierge application that is available throughout the stay of the trip that you booked. The last one this morning that we wanted to show to you is ManyBuild. ManyBuild is a construction company out of the Midwest. We've been working with Paul Kuznetsky, with him and his team, really being one of our early partners, done amazing work. We've engaged in multiple customers. In this case, it really is about construction project management and being able to have a marketplace for jobs that becomes available, but also being able to manage existing projects through their life cycle, knowing who your contractors and your subcontractors are, being able to collaborate with them, continuously tracking progress, sharing information about jobs, not just the job itself, but also images and details as you continue to make your progress throughout the life cycle of the solution. This is all talking to their existing backend that they have, that they manage these projects with today, And again, we used some of the new CSS and custom components to really build a user experience here that it really is just beautiful and is easy to use for people. And especially in this case, a project can get very complex. So we really wanted to make it easy for people to get the projects that they're working on and really put it under their thumb. So it's not a complex user experience to navigate through, even though there is a wealth of data and information below you. And really all aspects of Jigx's ability to build really beautiful native mobile applications coming together in this specific solution. We are coming up to 40 minutes here. I am going to stop there and then I'm going to hand it actually back to Stephanie. I think as we mentioned, and as Stephanie mentioned when we started out, there are amazing resources available on Jigx.com. The Jigx.com/blog is new, and then community.jigx.com, and then also docs.jigx.com. As we continue to invest in those resources, we are building the software for our customers and for our partners and for the developers out there that want to build mobile applications. Please give us your feedback. We wake up in the mornings and we wake up only to make sure that we make the software better for you and easier for you to use. We have a lot of things that we still want to do, that we still want to accomplish. We're not nowhere close to where we want to be, but it's been an exciting journey. People love what we're doing. And we're certainly excited about making it even better and easier for you to use going forward. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining. As we mentioned, we're going to continue the conversation at community.jigx.com. So hope to see you all there and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for joining us.